can see, the whole reason why I had to even split this case in the first place. What's up guys, welcome back to the Gold Guy YouTube channel, and welcome back to another episode of the 1974 Honda MT250 Elsinore restoration. Now, if you saw the last video in this series, I tried taking this bike out for some 0 to 60 runs to see how fast it is, and dang, couldn't even make it to 60. It wasn't so fast. It did about 12-13 seconds for 0 to 60 miles an hour, which is not good. And I was thinking maybe my carburetor jetting's off, so I adjusted that a bit, and that didn't help. And then I thought maybe my ignition timing is off, so I adjusted that a bit, and that didn't help. Adjusting these two things didn't even affect it. The issue is in the top range, it just starts bogging bad. And the bike also smokes white smoke a lot on startup. And it does go away after a little bit, but the other thing it does is it shoots oil out of the crankcase vent hose. What are we leaking? Something coming out of this line here. What is that? That's oil. So it's kind of obvious now to me that the crank seals in this engine are bad. The only things I've done in this engine are just clean it up and paint it. I didn't even touch the engine. I did a compression test, and it does have 150 psi compression, which is great. So the top end isn't gonna need rebuilt, but I did buy a complete gasket set for this engine and the complete seal set for this engine. So I'm gonna replace all of the gaskets and seals, get it nice and tight, and then this bike should be running good. We should get that 8.9 second 0 to 60 time. So, enough talking. We know what needs to happen. We gotta split the freaking case, just completely disassemble the engine. Hopefully it doesn't give me too much trouble here, but it's about 3:39. Let's see how long it takes for me to pull this motor. Let's get it. First off, let's get these springs for the exhaust header loose. See all that spooge? That's another sign the crank seals are bad. And then the tachometer cable. And the oil injection line. Pull the spark plug, boot off carburetor, disconnect the coil wires. Clutch cable. Alright, now we gotta disconnect the chain. Then oil injection cable. Now I'm gonna drain the oil out. Can I do it without getting oil on my fingers? Write your guess down below. Whoo! No oil on my fingers. If you guessed yes, thank you for believing in me. Now I'm gonna start loosening up the engine mounting bolts. We got 2 more mounting bolts here and here. Okay, there's the last mounting bolt. I think all the oil's done draining out, so I'm gonna put the bolt back in. All right, now the motor should be free. See Seems like the exhaust pipe's definitely gonna be in the way, so I gotta pull that. Okay. Now it should come out. Oh, there it is. Motor's free. Here we go. We got the motor, and the time is 4:12, so I did that in about half an hour. All right, now let's pull the head off, pull the top end off, and then we can get to splitting the case. That one wasn't very tight. Very weird head bolt configuration. I've never seen that before. And there is the whole cylinder and head. All right, there's the head. Looks nice. Now we can see a better look at the cylinder. And the cylinder looks great. I don't see any scratches. It's a little smooth in there, a little glossy, but I still see a little bit of honing marks in the top there. And no scoring. I mean, this thing had good compression. I'm really not worried about the top end. So what I'm looking for in the top end to make sure the bearings, everything is healthy, is up and down play in either the wrist pin bearing or the crankshaft bearing down there. And it has no up and down play. You would hear a little click if it was. It's nothing. So this is good. And also, if you look at the piston, if the rings weren't sealing, you would see a ton of black carbonation. Is that the word? I don't know. You'd see a ton of black marks under the piston rings there. Usually you see some under the first one, but I don't even see any under the first one. So yeah, this thing was running pretty good. All right, now I have to take everything off of the side of the cases that is attached to like the crankshaft, because that will prohibit me from splitting the cases apart. Obviously, this is in the way. There it is. Working. So now, I'll switch over. All right. Oh yeah, there's that oil coming out. I knew it would. Basically every other kick, it'll slip. Gear's not missing any teeth. I may have to take this apart and investigate this further. And then with this spring, I'm gonna try and bend it a little bit just to get a little extra zip out of it. Nothing crazy, but that actually feels a bit better. Yeah, I think that feels better. All right, now I have to take the clutch assembly off. Dang, this clutch is like brand new. There's no glossiness on the steel plates or the friction plates, and I can still see like a good millimeter of pad left on there, so no need to change anything here. There it goes, nice and easy. Well, first we gotta pull out all these crank screws, obviously. And of course there's some behind the stator plate, and they don't make this easy. And then even the oil pump's gotta come out. Good thing I have this Tusk crankcase separator. It's pretty easy to use. You just thread it in and make sure it's in very good all the way as far as it can thread in, or else you will end up breaking your case. Ask me how I know. So now we just slowly crank on this. Press down on the crankshaft. And really try hard not to break anything. Oh, there it goes. I forgot a freaking screw. I'm glad I saw that before I broke anything. It's the one right behind the clutch arm. I got the cases split and I didn't break anything. Alright, there we go. We split the cases. In order to change this side crank seal, I am actually going to have to take this freaking bolt off to get the crank out. Ah, I got it. Nice. Nice. I got it. Got the crankshaft out without breaking anything. And now we can see the whole reason why I had to even split this case in the first place. And that is this crappy seal right here. And yes, validation for all that work. It was leaking. It was leaking very badly. It's all dry rotted, crumbling, and the wire inside is broken. See that? That's supposed to be one piece. It was snapped in half. Alright, now it's time to change these nasty old seals. I'm going to start with the one that actually needs to be changed, the crankcase seal. Oh, there's part of the seal. Whew, there it is. And goodbye. And I think that is seated. Now I'm going to do the left side seals. That one came out super easily. That one also came out really easily. Whoa. The new seals definitely look a bit different than the old ones, but they're definitely the same size. Dang, that one I can just press right in with my fingers. Alright, I've cleaned off all of the gasket surfaces, got the seals in there. I'm going to get just a little bit of assembly lubricant on the inside lip of the seal. And a little bit of assembly lubricant on crankshaft and piston bearings. Drop the crank back in. I'm going to get some assembly lubricant on the inside of these seals as well. there it goes. Alright, now I've got to clean up the rest of the gasket material. Clutch cover side. Going real easy. Real easy with this very sharp brand new blade. That way it won't scratch up the case. I've got the gasket surface all nice and cleaned up. So now let's reassemble the clutch side of the engine. First the washer, then the bolt. Click. What you actually have to do is flip around this starter pawl, as they call it, P-A-W-L. Flip it around to the 12 o'clock position, put the spring on, preload it, only about half a turn. Like that. And then that's it, then you're golden. Then the oil pump drive gear. So I've got the neutral stopper and the drum stopper in place. Now I'm going to torque them down to 6 foot-pounds. Now it's time to reassemble the clutch. First, the clutch push rod goes in. Now the basket. And then this piece. And now the clutch plates, which are all still very oily, so I'm not worried about it. Man, these clutch plates look so good. They look brand new. The throw-out bearing, or whatever you're gonna call that, that goes in first. Then this, and then this. And then these get torqued down to 6 foot-pounds. Alright, think that's it for this side. Let's get the gasket on. There it is. Before I reinstall the clutch cover, I'm going to pull out this old seal and then pop in the new one. And then get and I'm gonna hand torque all these screws down. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing for the case screws. Next, the points go back on. Nice. And then the sprocket. Fixing plate. And then the 2-stroke oil injection pump. Then the line goes back on. And that's it for the lower end. I'll put this cover back on once the engine's back on the bike. Now we just gotta reassemble the top end. This old head gasket is really baked on. Let's see if we can get it off in one piece. I would be surprised. Okay. All right, everything looks clean, looks good, ready for reassembly. All right, first I'm gonna put the base head gasket on, just like that. And then I'm gonna get some 2-stroke oil all over the cylinder and piston rings to make sure everything slides into place nicely. Ooh, there we go. All right, that'll do. Nice, that went easily. Nice and easy. That's what I like to see. And then, new head gasket. Back on it goes. Bye-bye, piston. And there's this little flange nut. This guy goes on right here. And then of course these 4 head bolt studded post things. The weirdest head bolts I've ever seen. The little flange nut gets tightened down to 8 foot-pounds, and then these special nuts get tightened down to about 18 foot-pounds. Here's 18. Now I don't need to do the special tightening procedure because these are not new head bolts. I'm gonna just go around, tighten it evenly until it starts getting real tight, then I'll click them down. I got 1 click. 2 clicks. 3 clicks. 4 clicks at 18 foot-pounds. Alright, there's 8 foot-pounds. All that's left to do now is get it back on the bike and then hook up the chain, carburetor, exhaust, all that fun stuff, and we will be able to take this bike on a test ride and see if it runs any better, and I hope I don't have any leaks. So stay tuned for that video, guys. It'll be out very soon. I'm actually going to film it tomorrow. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on that video, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Comment down below if you have any tips for me with rebuilding engines. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.